Hello and welcome back to Blue Crescent Tarot. My name is Deanne and I'm here today with I think what will be a quick VR to Becca at Becca Talks in Tarot. This was from a video she posted 3 weeks ago, and it was her first video in her series called 5-Minute Thought of the Day. So I thought this would be an interesting one because it's sort of a spin-off of my first YouTube video that I did, which was a VR to Simon at the Hermit's Cave. And that one was called My First Tarot. So this hashtag is Tarot and Me, and it's sort of just a progression of where you started with tarot and where you are now, or maybe it's even looser than that. Maybe it's just tarot and me, and what does that mean to you? How is tarot integrated into your life? So Becca talked a bit about a new deck that she had received and how that made her reflect on where she kind of started with tarot and where she was in life then and where she is in life now. And I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing to think about because as you will have known from, if you've seen my video for My First Tarot, this yellow box Rider-Waite-Smith was the very first deck that I ever had, and then that one was sort of gifted to me. It was just kind of up for grabs at a friend's house when her mom was cleaning out her library and had some books on the table for us if we wanted them, and this tarot deck was there. So this is not the same copy. That one I passed along a long time ago, I think. I don't really know what happened to it, which is interesting because I hear a lot of people say that about their first deck, but I kind of remember that I gave it to someone. So anyway, we'll just chalk that up to tarot mysteries, right? Seems to happen a lot. So this is a pretty pristine copy because I bought this and 2 other decks at the same time when I got back into tarot. When I bought my own house and I had gotten out of a relationship, I was just kind of starting out again on my own and just filling up my beautiful house with the things that I loved, and I thought that means tarot. And so after several years of a hiatus, I got back into this. Though in the meantime, I still did a lot of work with spirit and some sort of staticky communication with spirit side, and still working with astrology and things like that. So I still had some of that sort of pagan witchy stuff going on, but not tarot specifically. So when I think of tarot and where I started, and when I think of Becca's hashtag tarot and me, I think of this deck, right? I think of these plaid backs, and I think of all of these images that were part of my life then. I was in 8th or 9th grade, I think, maybe around 14, and these are the images that come to mind when I think about not really knowing what tarot was all about, but feeling very drawn and very connected to it, and feeling like there were things to decode and answers to be found. And it was just very interesting, you know. It was this really intriguing aspect to kind of add to my my experience with ghosts, spirits. You know, I was kind of that person that friends would call when their Ouija board wasn't quote unquote working for them. You know, then I'd come over and things would kick right off. So I was always kind of that person that people would ask about, oh, I think there's a ghost in my house, or I had this dream, and what do you think that means? And, you know, I'm a Scorpio, and I think that means this and that. What do you think? I was kind of that, that spirit-oriented friend or that cosmic oriented friend. And so I just found that along with my experiences with spirit that I was getting a lot of those questions. And then when this deck came into my life, it felt very much like another piece of that. So that's kind of how the tarot fits into my puzzle and tarot and me, right? That's what it means to me. It was this other piece, what would later become a very important piece of what I would sort of define myself as. And I didn't have any clue at the time that years down the road, you know, when I bought my house and I got a few decks back in my hands, that here's my favorite, in case you didn't know. When I got decks back into my life, I created a little Facebook group for friends and family so I could do readings through that group. And at that point, I thought that was a big step for me. I'm going to make this little Facebook group. I'm going to invite 30 or 40 people that I know are kind of this mind and would like that. You know, people who ask me questions about spirit and things like that. I'm going to put them in this group. And that was my big step, right? I thought that was it. And then a few months later, I received an offer. And again, this is in my video about my first tarot. So I won't go too much into detail, but that story is there for you if you're interested. I got an offer to read at a shop. At the time, it was a crystal. There were crystals and candles, right? A couple little things. I don't want to say a small inventory, but what this place is now is 2 locations, and they're both metaphysical, day spa, boutique type of places. And when I first started reading, it was just a 1-room crystal shop basically, which was very cool. And I just sat in the middle of the room and read. As that progressed, they moved locations. I got my own room. I had a little table set up, so I would just go in. I would work there every other Friday. This ended or is on hiatus maybe once lockdown started, but they are actually open again, and there are people in there doing readings, but I'm at home with my toddler, so I can't, it just doesn't work into my schedule like it used to, because so many things are different now. But I digress. So the point of that is that and how I came to be in that position was by the owner of that shop, who is a psychic medium. And so I felt pretty confident that after I read for her daughter-in-law that that I was in the right place. I thought, well, if the medium thinks I'm going to be great in here, then that kind of gave me that boost of confidence, because I never thought I would read for strangers, for people I didn't know. There's a lot of or there can be a lot of anxiety that comes along with that, but it's, you know, 97% of the time it's a really great experience, and something I feel really privileged to do for people. Hopefully someday I can get back in there, but for now, I'm still doing readings through my Facebook group for my friends and family, and tarot is a part of my daily life, right? Not always, but I try to do daily readings right now, daily draws for myself. Right now, I am working through the Embrace the Magical, which is another hashtag, and I post all of those on Instagram, and that is something that Kelly Fitzgerald of The Truth and Story and Patrick, who I can never remember his middle name, Patrick, creator of the Living Wheel astrology cards, which are beautiful, by the way. Kelly has created a couple decks and a token casting system as well, and those are all gorgeous, and I love everything she does. But again, that's a different video. But since I shouted out Patrick, so when I can kind of hook myself into those challenges, you know, for the month of October we're doing this, or I find someone doing something for Lenormand, or that kind of motivates me to stick with it every day. Point being is that I went from tarot being this sort of secret decoder system in my bedroom as a 14-year-old, and I would pull some cards and I would write about them, And then I went away from that for a while and got really heavy into the spirit side of things because just where I was in my life, a lot of spirit energy was happening. And then when I moved into my new house years later, you know, had grown up, gone to school, gone to grad school, bought my own house, then it became that sort of personal intimate thing that, you know, was just me and my on my bedroom floor pulling cards, and then opened up to the Facebook group, and then opened up to reading at someone's shop. Just all of these opportunities that I never imagined would happen for me in relation to tarot. So that's kind of my little ramble about tarot and me, because it has changed so much, but I am so happy that I still have those and these intimate moments with my cards, just sitting here shuffling these, showing you a few images that you've seen probably hundreds of times, taking time for myself and making this video just to kind of respond and be part of the conversation, right? So 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago even, I never would have thought that YouTube would be part of Tarot and Me. And so it's really interesting to think about and reflect on how these cards have come to mean so many different things and have come to create so many opportunities and bridge so many connections. So that's my 2 or 3 cents about tarot and me. And again, for kind of the complete story, you can check out my first tarot. And if you would like to participate in this conversation, you can go ahead and do that. You can tell me in the comments or participate in this video response if you are a content creator, and use the hashtag tarot and me. I will of course link Becca's video in the description, so check that out. And if you're not subscribed to her, please do. She's so awesome and just really feels like a friend. So if you need to, you know, pop her on and jump in one of her live chats or watch her daily videos, totally recommend hanging out on Becca's page. So I think that's all for today. Thank you so much. Love to you all.